We're Team-001-49, and here's our final project. My name is Joseph Schock. I did the shipping priority queue extension, and this is just a priority queue system that organizes the deliveries into three tiers: expedited, standard, and no rush, and then allows for you to reprioritize um, as you have the simulation running on front end and remove packages from the queue. And And here's how that looks on front end. So I can schedule trips here. I'll just call this one trip one, and that'll be set as standard priority. And then another one, trip two. And it's immediately trip one got taken out of the queue because a drone was immediately assigned to it. So trip two, here it shows up in the queue, and that's set as standard priority. So if I do another package three and set it to expedited priority, it'll move to the front of the queue. And then if I do another one with just call it one and do no rush priority, it'll go to the back of the queue. And then I can reorder these in queue by using these drop-down menus next to their names. So if I want to move one to expedited priority, then it would go below three because that's already at expedited priority, but then ahead of two. And then I can move it so that one's before three if I set three to standard priority. And then also I can remove any of them from the queue using this drop down too. And every time that I change something in the queue, it'll send a notification to the notification bar on the left side as well. And if I change the simulation speed, eventually the drone will get to these deliveries and remove them from the queue. Mm,
I'm doing data collection manager. And what it is a centralized logging system tracking drone metrics, and it automatically exports structured CSV reports for analysis. And why it's important is it helps with performance insights, allows the drone factory to compare performance across different drones, and it also logs critical events. And the design pattern is singleton since data collection manager, there's only one instance of it. And then this is the example that I have. Drone one is already registered with its own ID. And if I schedule the trip, and I'll call this one trip one as well, um, and then I just do 2 points and submit it, the drone is heading towards the package. And then once it actually heads to the package and it drops it off, and this can also be like multiple drones that can happen, there will be an CSV file that shows the statistics and also the log entry of the timestamp and what's happening. That's basically it.
Yeah, I'll go next. My name is Saba, and my extension was multi-drone. Um, multi-drone coordination. Let me try to share my screen. So my extension was multi-drone coordination, and the way that I implemented it was I used both the observer and singleton patterns. So for observer, I had it that whenever leader drones encounter an event such as low battery, um, that would immediately process a broad that would broadcast a handoff request through handoff manager, which is where the singleton aspect came in. I used handoff manager to handle all broadcasts and also make sure that the observers, which in this case is helper drones, were able to receive this broadcast, and not only would it alert them about that, but it would also process which helper drone was in closest proximity to the leader drone in order to make that handoff process. So here is the front end of it. So with my code, I made separate buttons to add leader drones and helper drones, and I also set the battery of the leader drone pretty low so you could see how what would happen if there were to encounter that event that requires that broadcast. So let me just do that, for example. Oh, since I also have like a normal drone without the helper leader drone roles in place, they also are able to handle packages. So here's the leader drone encountering. They're going to pick up that package. So you can see that it also alerts the front end that it ended up with low batteries. So what it will do is return to the charging station, and then the helper drone will go ahead and pick up that package. So that's my part.
I'm Liz Marguerite and I did the air traffic control. Share my screen. So for the air traffic control, it is a safety system that, sorry, this. It's a safety system that prevents mid-air collisions by enforcing a 50-unit spacing between drones, airplanes, and any other flying entities, and reroutes them when needed. It's important because it adds realistic air traffic management and prevents chaotic collisions in crowded airspace. For the design pattern, I use singleton and a decorator. The air traffic controller is one instance, so that uses the singleton, and then the flying entities are controlled by a decorator pattern. Um, the air traffic control also just keeps track of any and all flying entities and keeps which I can also kind of show my simulation. It tracks the airplane and keeps rerouting it to keep it near the edge when it's not en route for a package. And it's been kind of finicky, but when I have like multiple things at the same time, they're supposed to avoid each other's path. Um, and the airplane is supposed to kind of stay out of the way and stay near the edge, kind of like the helicopter airplane thing is doing right now.